Hello, it's me again. I'm still playing with trees and trying to create a winter scene. I got this stamp set called Lovely as a Tree, and it's got this really cool tree here that I want to see what I can do with it. And so as I'm playing, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. Okay, I'm going to choose my lightest blue, which happens to be Soft Sky. And I want to create sort of a horizon line. And I'm going to try using a sponge to put some color on here. Well, this is not working that great, but I'll have to work it a little bit more. This is going to be like a row of distant trees. I just want to get some color on here. And I'm kind of working it about the middle of the page. And probably it would be better if I had a round sponge. I'm going to test out a paintbrush. I'm just going to see if I can't put a little bit more color in here. I kind of want a far away, distant tree line. So I'm just kind of using a brush and very lightly putting on some. And if I make some shapes, it's okay. The shapes will kind of look like trees. Yeah, that would be okay if I do that too. Okay, well, that's okay. It could be better. But, like I said, I'm just playing. Alright, I'm going to use a piece of blotting paper. And I'm going to set that on my horizon here. And I'm going to try using the top of the tree. So I'm just going to ink the top of it, because I just want some small distant trees in the background. And we'll put a few of those in there. I'll do a second. Let's see, I want this one to be a little lighter. Okay, so it kind of gives some tree shapes. Okay, so it's unclear, but yet you do see some tree shapes. I think I will add a little bit more color. I think I'm going to go to a slightly darker color. Marina Mist. This is one of my favorite colors. And I'll put maybe a little bit of that on as well. Make these trees slightly taller. I like to make it uneven. Okay, so those look a little bit more like trees with sort of a misty background. Now for the main thing. I'm going to choose Garden Green. Clean my stamp off. And this time I want the whole tree. So we'll ink the entire block. Make sure it's well covered. Now this tree is up closer, so I can put it down here. And those will be the distant trees. There. What do you think of that? Of course, one thing I noticed right away is that it's darker in here because of the ink back there. So maybe it would be a good idea to have blotted some color where I know I want my tree, because this looks a little light. I'm going to attempt to put a little bit of color in there, but I don't want that dark color. So I'm going to go back to the lighter color. And I'm going to just blot some color in here so it's not so light at the bottom part of the tree. I realize that kind of makes my print not as clear. But it still has the look of a tree. And then I'm going to use a marker to color in my tree trunk. And there's a few places where I can kind of see it, so I'll just put a little bit in there. It just kind of peekaboos through every now and then. And there. That doesn't look too bad. That might look nice in a cutout window, like an oval with maybe an embossed snow, which I think I'm going to try. So I have a little piece of cardstock that's white, and I want to emboss it to look like snow. So I get my embossing folder that's going to make snow, and I place this inside. And we run it through our big shot machine. And now our paper has snowdrops falling. Little bumps, there's more on top and less on bottom. And I want to put my tree behind that in a oval cutout. Let's change this to accept the die cuts. And we want our oval cutout. I have taken the refrigerator magnets, you know, that were on my refrigerator, and I've stuck them in here so that I could hold my things here better. I've kind of recycled all of my refrigerator magnets. So I have those on that side, and then I have these on this side. So you can make use of those refrigerator magnets. Okay, this oval is a little small. I need a bigger oval because that tree, that tree isn't going to fit in there completely. I need a bigger oval. Well, I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. Well, I suppose it could work. If I put it so that you don't see the ground, you just see it like that. And then you could have a little misty looking window, which I kind of like that, but I think I need to get me a bigger oval. Because I think a bigger oval would be prettier, because we're missing, you know, these tree shapes out there on the side. But it could work. I could even put it off slightly off to one side so that you can see this little tree in the background, and then you have the main tree. And I could add some decorations on top. So I think I'll go with that. But yeah, I think I need a bigger oval. Okay, so I'm trying again, and this time I decided to blot some color on the bottom of the base of the tree so that it won't be so pale white. But everything else is pretty much the same thing that I did before. I'm using my blotting paper, laying on my horizon, and I want to put in some tree. Don't put them all the same height. You want some higher, some lower, because nature is full of randomness. I also didn't put any in the center because I know that that's where the center of the tree is going to be. So I try to put my trees mostly on the two sides. Okay, now I'm going to switch to a darker color for my large tree. And now that looks a lot more even in color throughout. So what do you think of that? Now to color my trunk. These pens and markers from Stampin' Up have two sides. This is actually the thicker side. I didn't realize I grabbed the thicker side at first. The other end of the pen has a much finer point. So I switched to that, and I thought this time I would just draw a little bit of brown on, it's actually a light brown, on some of the branches that I can see, just to add a little bit more detail to the tree for a more realistic view. I kind of like the misty background trees. I think it really adds to this tree. Of course, the stronger green color is in the front, and you know, it's an evergreen tree. Even in the winter, even if there's snow on the ground, you have green trees. So that works. I'm pretty pleased with it. That was a little light, so I decided to double stamp over it, and this time I used Tranquil Tide, and I was pretty pleased with how that looked. Well, I hope you learned something. Don't forget to subscribe.